to the king, baby.
Bonfire Effigy is a game that follows in a long line of these short walking sim-esque experiences. Games like Escalation, Eclipsium, and so on, these games are usually quite short, usually carrying around a sort of profound or even deeper narrative layer, something that it's trying to tell you. Typically, they have either puzzles or something of that nature. Even the likes of Karimara kind of has the way you ask questions and solve different things and puzzles within that game. I kind of think that this game is akin closer to Karimara in a way where it's extremely short. It's like 30 minutes or so. And much like Karimara, it's fairly simple, straightforward, and uses pretty much the exact same gameplay loop throughout. I think Bonfire Effigy is an interesting game with an interesting premise. It's a game where you are seemingly lost in the woods, feeding a fire that grows more hungry as time goes on. You're feeding this fire and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. And that's how it progresses from chapter to chapter. Eventually, there's an effigy that follows you around. And obviously, there's a connection to you, the player, with this effigy. It all seems to be about toxic relationships. I don't know that it matters whether it's toxic relationships between couples or toxic relationships with anything in general. It could be making YouTube videos, creating art, it could be filmmaking or photography. It seems like overall there's a message there. A message about when you constantly keep feeding negativity in your life, it will grow out of control and it will affect not only you, but everything and everyone around you. It's a trickle-down effect that'll easily catch a blaze and spread like a wildfire. And this game does progress to that point, and you do get a humongous wildfire until you reach the very end. And it's kind of a beautiful, somber sort of ending. And I think the message that this, like I said, very short game tells you is a good one. It's a very important message. It is a smart, powerful message. And given that this is a very short game and a fairly cheap game, sitting at about $3 on Steam, I think you have to take that into account. The fact that it's around 30 minutes, the fact that it costs $3, you have to take into account. And when I compare that to other games like I've mentioned, I think as far as the story being told, the narrative, the messaging, and the themes are powerful and worth it. And for $3, I do believe even the gameplay loop is worth it. Because like I said, it's extremely short. Though, I think that the gameplay loop of going and collecting wood and other items as it goes on starts off interesting and slowly becomes more and more and more and more tedious as time goes on. It becomes more and more of a chore because you're being chased by the effigy, which usually will either not move or slow down when you look at them, much like a weeping angel, which I didn't actually figure that out for the first little bit. I was like, God, this is so just getting on my nerves. But I figured it out, and it made more sense, right? But there are times where, you know, the rules are changed a bit. The things you got to collect and how much changes. There is a strategy that you can kind of use to cheese it a bit. The effigy will grab you and take you to the fire and burn you alive with it because the toxicity is taking you down with it. The negativity, the hate, it's all burning up inside you, alongside you, and with you all at once. But you can kind of cheese the game if you go and collect the items that you need, and then you tap the button to break free, and then when you break free, you just run straight to the fire. That's something that I did quite often. But it can also be kind of annoying because you run out of stamina very quickly, and you have to collect, I guess it's bottles of water or tequila, I don't know. Maybe it's vodka, but I can't really tell what it is. It's something that replenishes your stamina. It almost looks like mouthwash bottles from mouthwashing. So the loop ends up being collecting these bottles to keep your endurance going, to keep the stamina going, keep you moving, and then you look at the effigy and kind of like keep your eyes on them so you can keep like turning and looking. But you end up doing this for way longer than feels right. And like I said, it's like a 30-minute long game, and I think overall it is a pretty good game. But you do end up doing that exact same loop at a point where it really outstays its welcome. And I think for a game that's $3, 30 minutes long, it's okay. But I think that even for 30 minutes, the gameplay loop really outstays its welcome, and it really becomes so tedious that it really isn't fun anymore. But the reward for completing it and the overall theme and the messaging, that's the reason you're playing it, I think. And I think if you like walking sim sort of games, or you like games that have this kind of artsy, thematic, more deep, personal, kind of philosophical idea going on with it, then it might be for you. But even for $3, I feel like some people could find other games that value their time a bit better in a way. I think they could find games that are 30 minutes long, or an hour long, or 3 hours long that are only like $2 more, and you get a bit more out of it. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to personal taste. Overall, I think it is a good game. I think that it is interesting, thought-provoking, and I think it is cool. I do not think that near the end that it is fun to play, but I think in the beginning, into the halfway point, it is very, very different and an interesting sort of game. But I think by the end, it kind of wears on you and it becomes a bit daunting. So I'll leave it up to you whether you want to play it or not. I did receive Bonfire Effigy for free, but that does not affect my opinion on the game. That does not affect my time played. It does not affect my review, and I don't make any money off of this. I don't make any money from reviewing these games. I don't make any money from this channel, nor do I make any money when people give me these games for free. I make nothing. So this is all me, all my opinion, and what I think about it. And I think Bonfire Effigy is an interesting game. And I think that if you're the right person for it, then it's for you. But if not, maybe you're better off with Chop Goblins. I don't know. I think it's up to you. But it is a thought-provoking, interesting, and intriguing game nonetheless. And if you like that kind of thing, I think you might like this. Thank you to Midnight Medium, Osh, Melancholy Geek, and John David for all the support. And as always, the Forge is calling, and I must answer. So I'll see you all when the next video has been forged. Good night, and good luck.